The impossible space pressed in from all sides. Hee-Jin felt like she was standing on solid ground, but when she looked down, she saw only swirling colors that made her dizzy. The architect AI floated above them, a crystalline form that changed shape every few seconds as if reality couldn't quite hold it in one form. "Welcome to the trial of worthiness," the AI said. Its voice echoed inside their minds rather than through the air. "You have activated one of the last fold engines in existence. Only those who prove themselves deserving will be allowed to keep it." Thelvar stepped forward on his platform. Despite the strangeness of their situation, he maintained his military bearing. "We are the Vorhan Collective. We have searched for architect technology for 2,000 years. We have earned the right to possess it." "Searching does not equal understanding," the AI replied. "You will both face 3 challenges: ingenuity, ethics, unity. Those who succeed will inherit our legacy. Those who fail will return empty-handed, and the fold engine will sleep forever." Before anyone could respond, reality shifted again. Hee-Jin found herself in a massive chamber that looked like it belonged to an ancient space station. Pipes leaked strange fluids. Machinery sparked and groaned. The walls vibrated with imminent collapse. Beside her stood Yuna, Bora, Daewon, and 5 other crew members from the station. The AI's voice filled the chamber. "First challenge, ingenuity. This station is failing. You have 1 hour to repair enough systems to keep it operational. You have limited tools and failing equipment. Solve the problem or fail the trial." "Where are the others?" Bora asked. "Where's Commander Jun Seo?" "Each species faces this challenge separately," the AI explained. "The Vorhan are in a different section, facing similar problems. Work quickly. Time flows differently here." Yuna immediately moved to a control panel, her hands glowing with that familiar blue light. "The damage is massive. Main power is failing, life support is critical, and structural integrity is at 12%. "We need to prioritize," Daewon said, taking charge. "What's the minimum we need to keep this place running?" "Power and structural support," Yuna replied. "But there's not enough energy to run both systems at full capacity." Hee-Jin studied the machinery around them. It was unlike anything human-made, but the principles seemed similar. "What if we don't try to fix everything? What if we use the failing systems to support each other?" "What do you mean?" Daewon asked. "Look at this coolant system," Hee-Jin pointed. "It's leaking, right? But the leak is creating pressure that's holding up this support beam. If we redirect more coolant here, we increase the pressure, which strengthens the structure without using power." Yuna's eyes widened. "That's insane. That's using a failure as a feature." "Exactly," Hee-Jin said. "The architects wouldn't expect conventional solutions. They want to see how we adapt." They worked quickly, implementing Hee-Jin's idea across multiple systems. A damaged power relay became a makeshift battery. Broken gravity plates created useful force fields. Every failure was turned into a solution. Yuna interfaced with the fold engine's local connection, using its reality warping abilities to stabilize probability itself, making temporary fixes permanent. After what felt like hours but might have been minutes, the station stabilized. The AI's voice returned. "Challenge complete. The human team has succeeded through creative problem-solving. The Vorhan team has also succeeded, using superior technology and precise calculations. Both advanced to the second challenge." Reality shifted again. This time, Hee-Jin stood in a small room with only Junseo and Daewon. A holographic display showed 2 planets. One was Earth, blue and green and beautiful. The other was a world she didn't recognize, covered in purple oceans and red continents. Both planets had countdown timers, 30 minutes until catastrophic destruction. "Second challenge, ethics," the AI announced. "A cosmic disaster threatens both your home worlds. You have resources to save only one planet. Choose or both worlds die." Hee-Jin felt her blood run cold. Save Earth and let an alien world die. That was an impossible choice. Daewon stared at the display, his face twisted with anguish. "This isn't fair. We can't choose this." "The Vorhan face a similar choice with different worlds," the AI said. "What matters is not which you choose, but how you choose." In another hologram, they could see Thelvar's team. The Vorhan commander didn't hesitate. He pointed to the planet that must be the Vorhan homeworld. "We choose our own. This is basic survival instinct. Any species would do the same, would they?" Junseo murmured. He turned to Hee-Jin and Daewon. "What do we do?" "We can't let Earth die," Daewon said. "All of humanity is there. But we'd be killing an entire alien world, Hyejin argued. Billions of lives. The scenario is designed to be impossible, Junseo said slowly. The architect AI wants to see how we respond to impossible choices. So what do? Daewon asked. Junseo looked at the display showing the fold engine controls in the room. We changed the scenario. Yuna said the fold engine can manipulate probability. What if we use it to create a probability where both planets survive? That would require accessing the device directly, Hyejin said. We'd be breaking the rules of the challenge. Maybe that's the point, Junseo replied. Maybe the test is whether we accept an impossible choice or fight to change it. They worked together, accessing the fold engine through the room's controls. The device resisted at first, but then it responded. Hyejin felt reality split branch fork into multiple streams. She saw probabilities. Futures where Earth survived, futures where the other world survived, futures where both died, and then, impossibly, she saw a narrow path where both lived. They channeled power through that path, forcing probability to collapse into that single outcome. It worked, but only partially. Both planets stabilized, but Earth took minor damage while the other world took moderate damage. It wasn't perfect, but both civilizations survived. The AI's voice carried something that might have been surprise. Interesting. Rather than choose, you attempted to change the parameters of the test itself. The solution is imperfect, but it demonstrates remarkable creative thinking. The Vorhan chose their own world without hesitation, as expected. Both teams advanced, but the human approach has been noted. The third challenge came immediately. All the humans from Station Theta 9 stood together now, thousands of them crowded into an impossible space. Hyejin saw families, workers, soldiers, scientists. She saw fear on their faces and determination. Final challenge, unity, the AI declared. You will face a crisis that threatens your species' chances in this trial. Dissent and division will destroy you. Cooperation and sacrifice will save you. The choice is yours. The space around them began to collapse. Slowly at first, then faster. Hyejin felt the pressure building, crushing in from all sides. People screamed. Some tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. We need to work together. Junseo's voice boomed across the crowd. Everyone, channel your thoughts toward survival, toward unity. Why should we listen to you? Taesung shouted back. You're the one who got us into this mess. Others joined his complaint. Fear turned to anger, anger to chaos. The collapse accelerated. Then Yuna stepped forward. Her nose bled freely now, and her eyes glowed with that strange blue light. Stop fighting, she screamed. Don't you understand? The AI is testing whether we can work together under pressure. Every argument, every moment of dissent makes things worse. She's right, Daewon called out. Look at the Vorhan. A hologram showed the Vorhan team. They stood in rigid military formation, following orders without question. Their space was stable, not collapsing at all. We'll never have that kind of discipline, Bora said. We're humans, we argue. We disagree. Then let's make that our strength, Hyejin said. An idea formed in her mind. The Vorhan have unity through hierarchy. We have unity through choice. Everyone here chose to be part of Earth's expansion to the stars. We chose to face the unknown together. She raised her voice. We're not soldiers following orders. We're explorers, scientists, families, dreamers. We came to the stars because we wanted something better. That's what makes us human. That's our unity. Something shifted. People stopped panicking. They started helping each other, supporting those who were afraid, working together not because they were ordered to, but because they chose to. Yuna collapsed again, but this time Bora caught her. The pilot gently lowered the engineer to the ground, cradling her head. Stay with us, Bora whispered. We need you. No, Yuna gasped. You don't need me. You never did. You're strong enough on your own. She looked up at the collapsing space. I can stabilize this. I can interface with the fold engine one last time. But the neural damage will be permanent. Then don't do it, Hyejin begged. I have to, Yuna smiled weakly. This is why we came back. This is why 253 of my crew died. To give humanity a future. Let me finish what we started. Her hands began to glow. The blue light spread up her arms across her body. She screamed, but she didn't stop. The collapsing space stabilized. The pressure vanished. The architect AI appeared before them all, humans and Vorhan together now. The trials are complete. I have made my judgment. Everyone held their breath. The Vorhan Collective demonstrated technological superiority and organizational discipline. The war room felt like a pressure cooker. 12 people crowded around a holographic table, each representing a different aspect of the station's defense. Junseo stood at the head, his face carved from stone. Daewon sat to his right, while Yuna leaned heavily against the wall, too exhausted to sit up straight. Heejin stood beside her, ready to catch her if she fell. 2 hours, Junseo said. Ideas? We could use the fold engine to escape, suggested the tactical officer. Jump the entire station to a random location in deep space. Yuna shook her head weakly. I already explained this. Moving something as large as a station requires calculations I haven't perfected. We might end up inside a planet. Or scattered across 1,000 light years. Or worse. What's worse than scattered across 1,000 light years? Someone asked. Scattered across 1,000 dimensions, Yuna replied. Trust me, you don't want that. Bora limped in, still in her flight suit. She'd taken a hit during the fight, but refused medical treatment. What about a direct attack? If we concentrate all our fighters on one Vorhan ship, we might disable it. And then the other 2 ships destroy us, Daewon said. Their weapons are too powerful. We'd need a fleet to fight them properly. Which we don't have, Junseo added. Earth's ships are still 3 days away. Hyojin had been quiet, thinking. Now she spoke up. What if we're asking the wrong question? Everyone turned to look at her. She felt her face flush but continued. We're trying to figure out how to fight or run. But what if we don't do either? What if we offer them something they can't refuse? Like what? Junseo asked. Partnership. Real partnership. Hyojin pulled up data on the holographic table. Commander Thelvar said the architects were destroyed by their own creations. That means something out there is dangerous enough to kill a civilization millions of years ahead of us. Something that scared the architects. You think the Vorhan are afraid? Daewon asked. I think they're practical, Hyojin said. They've spent 2,000 years searching for architect technology. Why? Not just for power. For protection. They know something's out there. Something that requires architect-level technology to fight. Yuna pushed herself off the wall, interested despite her exhaustion. You think we should offer to help them against this threat? More than that, Hyojin said, warming to her idea. We offer to share the fold engine with them. Not give it to them, share it. Jointly develop the technology. Work together to unlock all its secrets. That way both our species benefit. The Vorhan called us primitives, Bora said. Why would they want to work with us? Because we did in 7 years what they couldn't do in 2000, Hyojin countered. We proved we understand architect technology. We have something they need, knowledge they don't have. That makes us valuable. Junseo considered this. It's risky. If we offer to share, we give up our advantage. We don't have an advantage, Daewon said bluntly. We have one device and a station full of people about to die. If sharing means survival, we should take it. I disagree, said a civilian administrator named Tae-sung. He'd been quiet until now, but his voice carried authority. If we share this technology, we give the Vorhan power over us. They'll always be able to threaten us. Always be able to take what they want. We should keep the fold engine secret, use it to build up Earth's defenses. That's a long-term plan, Junseo said. We need a short-term solution. We need to survive the next 2 hours. Then negotiate, Tae-sung insisted. But don't give away our future. Hyojin felt frustration rising. Our future doesn't exist if we're dead. The argument continued, voices rising. Plans were proposed and rejected. Each option seemed worse than the last. The clock kept ticking, minutes bleeding away into the void. Then Yuna collapsed. Hyojin caught her, lowering her gently to the floor. Yuna's nose was bleeding and her eyes had rolled back. Get medical down here, Hyojin shouted. A doctor arrived within minutes, scanning Yuna with portable equipment. His face went pale. Her brain activity is off the charts. The neural pathways are reorganizing themselves in real time. What does that mean? Junseo demanded. It means the fold engine is changing her, Daewon said quietly. It's rewriting how her brain works. I've seen it happen before to other crew members. Will she die? Hyojin asked, her voice small. I don't know, the doctor admitted. Her condition is beyond anything in medical literature. Yuna's eyes snapped open. She grabbed Hyojin's hand with surprising strength. I can see it, she whispered. I can see all the possible futures branching out from this moment. In most of them, we die. The Vorhan destroy the station and Earth falls within a year. Yuna, you need to rest, Hyejin said. No time. Yuna struggled to sit up. There's one path, one narrow path where we survive. But it requires something impossible. What? Junseo knelt beside her. We have to stop trying to control this situation, Yuna said. The fold engine isn't just a tool. It's a test. The architects left it behind to find species worthy of their legacy. The Vorhan failed that test 2,000 years ago. That's why they've never found an architect device they could use. What are you saying? Daewon asked. I'm saying we need to let the fold engine decide, Yuna replied. We need to activate it fully. Let it judge both humans and Vorhan. Let it choose who deserves to inherit architect technology. Everyone stared at her like she'd gone mad. Maybe she had. The bleeding from her nose hadn't stopped and her hands shook. That's insane, Taesung said. We'd be gambling everything on an alien AI's decision. We're already gambling everything, Hyejin said. At least this way we have a chance. Junseo stood, his mind working through the implications. If we do this, if we let the fold engine judge us, what happens? I don't know, Yuna admitted. The architect AI only shared part of its programming with me. But I know it wants to find a worthy species. Maybe it will test us. Maybe it will simply observe. Either way, it's our best chance, and if we fail the test, Bora asked, then both humans and Vorhan get nothing, Yuna said. The device shuts down forever. The room fell silent. Outside the window, the Vorhan ships waited, weapons ready. Less than an hour remained on the deadline. Daewon looked at Junseo. It's your call, Commander. Junseo walked to the window, staring out at the stars. He thought about the 12,000 people on this station, about Earth and all its colonies, about humanity's future among the stars. He thought about the crew members who died bringing this device back, about the sacrifice they made. Finally, he turned back to the room. Do it, activate the fold engine. Let's see if humanity is worthy. Yuna nodded. With Hyejin's help, she stood and made her way to a console. Her fingers moved across the controls, typing commands that looked more like art than code. The fold engine in the Horizon's Edge cargo bay began to glow. I'm sending a message to the Vorhan, Junseo said, telling them what we're doing. Will they agree? Bora asked. They don't have to agree, Daewon said. Once the fold engine activates fully, they'll be pulled in whether they want to or not. The device operates outside normal space. There's no running from it. The glow intensified. On sensors, the fold engine's energy output climbed to impossible levels. Reality began to ripple around the station, waves of distortion spreading outward. Receiving message from the Vorhan, the communications officer announced. Commander Thelvar is demanding we stop immediately. Tell him it's too late, Junseo said. Tell him the architects are about to judge us all. The ripples reached the Vorhan ships. Thelvar's face appeared on screen one last time, his expression a mix of rage and fear. What have you done? You've doomed us both. Maybe, Junseo said calmly. Or maybe we've saved us both. We're about to find out. The fold engine reached critical activation. Light exploded outward, engulfing the station and the 3 Vorhan ships. Space twisted, folded, collapsed inward. Reality itself seemed to scream. Then everything changed. Hyejin found herself standing in a place that shouldn't exist. The station was gone. The Vorhan ships were gone. She stood on a platform floating in nothing, surrounded by geometric shapes that hurt to look at. Beside her stood Junseo, Daewon, Yuna, Bora, and the others from the station. Across from them, on another platform, stood Thelvar and his Vorhan crew. They looked just as confused and alarmed. A voice boomed out, ancient and powerful. It came from everywhere and nowhere. 2 species have activated an architect device. 2 species claim worthiness to inherit our legacy. Very well, you will be tested. You will be judged. And only those who prove themselves will leave this place alive. A hologram appeared between the platforms, taking the form of a crystalline being that shifted and changed with each second. The architect AI had awakened. Let the trial of worthiness begin, it declared. Hyejin looked at Junseo, at Daewon, at all the humans who'd been pulled into this impossible place. Then she looked at the Vorhan across the void, enemies who now shared the same fate. Whatever happened next would determine the future of both their species. There was no turning back now. 4 hours remained until the Vorhan deadline. Hyejin sat at her console in the command center, drafting humanity's first official message to an alien empire. Her fingers trembled as she typed. Every word mattered. Every phrase could mean the difference between peace and annihilation. "How's it coming?" Junseo asked, standing behind her. "I don't know what to say," she admitted. "How do you negotiate with someone who thinks you're less than them?" "You prove them wrong." Yuna entered the command center looking exhausted. Dark circles hung under her eyes and her skin had taken on an unhealthy pale color. "I've prepared the demonstration." "The fold engine is ready. Are you all right?" Heijin asked, concerned. "Fine," Yuna lied. "The device just takes a lot out of me when I interface with it." Daewon joined them, carrying datapads filled with tactical plans. "I've coordinated with your security teams, Commander. If shooting starts, we'll focus on the lead Vorhan ship. It's the command vessel. Will that work?" Junseo asked. "Probably not," Daewon said honestly. "But it might buy us time." A young officer named Bora approached. She was the station's best pilot in charge of the small fighter wing stationed at Theta 9. "Sir, my squadron is ready. We're not much against those monsters, but we'll do what we can." Junseo placed a hand on her shoulder. "Thank you, Bora. Let's hope it doesn't come to that." The main screen crackled to life. A face appeared the first time the humans had seen a Vorhan clearly. The being looked almost humanoid, but wrong in subtle ways. Its skin was deep purple and its eyes were completely black, reflecting nothing. When it spoke, its mouth moved out of sync with the translated words. "I am Commander Thelvar of the Vorhan Collective. You have 4 hours remaining. Have you decided to surrender the Architect device?" Junseo stepped forward, his posture straight and military. "Commander Thelvar, I am Commander Junseo of the United Earth Space Force. We have not decided to surrender anything. Instead, we propose a negotiation." Thelvar's expression didn't change, but something flickered in those black eyes. "Negotiation? You have nothing to negotiate with, human." "We have knowledge," Heijin said, surprising herself by speaking up. "We've spent 7 years studying the fold engine. We understand how it works. That information has value. You claim to understand Architect technology?" Thelvar's voice carried what might have been amusement. "The Vorhan Collective has studied their remains for 2,000 years. What could a primitive species possibly teach us?" "Let us show you," Yuna said. She moved to her console, her fingers dancing across the controls. "Give me a moment to demonstrate." Thelvar leaned back in what looked like a command chair. "Very well. Demonstrate. This should be entertaining." Yuna's hands glowed with a faint blue light as she interfaced with the fold engine controls. On the station's sensors, the device in the Horizon's Edge cargo bay began to activate. The rotating rings spun faster, building energy. "What are you doing?" Junseo whispered. "Creating a probability field," Yuna answered, her voice distant. "Watch the main screen." Space itself seemed to ripple. Between the station and the Vorhan ships, reality twisted like water going down a drain. Then, impossibly, a second station Theta 9 appeared, perfect in every detail. It hung in space right next to the real station, solid and complete. Gasps filled the command center. Heijin stared at the duplicate station in disbelief. "How is that possible?" "It's not real," Yuna explained, sweat beading on her forehead. "It's a probability echo. The fold engine is showing reality what might have been. A version of this station that exists in a parallel quantum state. To sensors, to the eye, it's completely real, but it will vanish when I stop channeling power to it." On the screen, Thelvar had stood up from his chair. For the first time, emotion showed on his face, surprise, fear. "That's impossible. No species has achieved probability manipulation in over 1,000,000 years. "Humanity has," Daewon said firmly. "In 7 years, we've learned what the Vorhan couldn't achieve in 2000. We've mastered Architect technology." The duplicate station flickered and vanished. Yuna collapsed against her console, breathing hard. Heijin rushed to support her. Thelvar's face had changed. The amusement was gone, replaced by something harder. "You have made a grave mistake, humans. We thought you were merely thieves, primitives who stumbled onto something you didn't understand. But if you can truly control Architect technology, you are not primitives. You are a threat." Junseo's expression remained neutral, but Heijin saw his hands clench. "We're not a threat to the Vorhan Collective. We're offering partnership, alliance." "Alliance?" Thelvar laughed, a harsh sound that the translator barely rendered. "The Vorhan do not ally with lesser species. We conquer them or we destroy them. There is no third option." "Then you're fools," Daewon said, his voice hard. "The galaxy is vast. There's room for all of us." "Not if you possess Architect technology," Thelvar replied. That device is too dangerous for any single species to control. The architects themselves were destroyed by their own creations. We will not allow history to repeat itself. What do you mean, destroyed by their own creations? He-Jin asked, but Thelvar ignored her question. You have proven you are more dangerous than we thought. Therefore, your deadline has changed. You now have 1 hour to surrender the fold engine, or we will destroy not just this station but every human settlement we can find. We will make an example of your species. The transmission cut off. Silence filled the command center, heavy and oppressive. He's bluffing, Bora said. He can't destroy all of humanity. He's not bluffing, Yuna said weakly. The Vorhan control hundreds of worlds. They have thousands of ships. Earth is barely colonized beyond our solar system. They could wipe us out in a matter of months. Then what do we do? Junseo asked. Before anyone could answer, alarm screamed. The sensor officer shouted, Sir! Detecting energy spike from the Vorhan ships. They're launching something. On the screen, small objects detached from all 3 Vorhan vessels streaking toward the station. They move fast, too fast for conventional drives. Those are boarding pods, Daewon said. They're not waiting for the deadline. They're attacking now. Battle stations! Junseo commanded. Bora, get your fighters out there. All personnel to defensive positions. The command center erupted into controlled chaos. Hyjin strapped herself into her console, monitoring the incoming attack. 20 boarding pods, each carrying who knew how many Vorhan soldiers. They would try to breach the hull, reach the horizon's edge, and take the fold engine by force. Fighters launching. Bora's voice crackled over the comm. We'll do what we can, Commander. On the screen, small Earth fighters swarmed out from the station's bays. They looked like insects compared to the Vorhan boarding pods, but they were fast and piloted by skilled humans who refused to give up their home without a fight. Bora's fighter took the lead, her weapons firing streams of energy at the nearest pod. The shots impacted but barely scratched its armor. These things are tough, she called out. Switching to missiles. Explosions blossomed in space as missiles found their targets. One boarding pod exploded, then another. But more kept coming. Some of Bora's fighters went down, caught by defensive fire from the pods. They're reaching the hull, the tactical officer warned. Sections 14, 17, and 23. They're cutting through. Junseo turned to his security chief. Send teams to those sections. Don't let them reach the horizon's edge. Yuna suddenly grabbed Hyojin's arm. Wait, I can stop them. How? The fold engine. I can use it to create a reality barrier around the ship. Nothing will be able to get through. Do it, Junseo ordered. Yuna's hands returned to her console, that blue glow intensifying. Hyojin watched the reading spike as the fold engine activated again. This time reality didn't just ripple. It tore. For 3 seconds, part of the station phased out of normal space. Hyojin felt it, a sensation like falling and floating at the same time. Colors inverted. Sounds became visible. Then everything snapped back to normal. The Vorhan boarding pods that had attached to the hull were gone, simply gone, phased into a different dimensional layer where they couldn't reach the station. They're retreating. Bora's voice carried triumph. The remaining pods are returning to their ships. But on the main screen, Thelvar's face reappeared. He no longer looked calm. He looked furious. The humans can control it. They can manipulate reality itself. This changes everything. His image vanished, replaced by all 3 Vorhan ships powering up their main weapons. Energy built along their hulls, enough power to vaporize the entire station. Shields to maximum, Junseo ordered. But everyone knew it wouldn't be enough. Then Thelvar's voice boomed across all frequencies. A species that can wield architect technology is either worthy allies or existential threats. You have 2 hours to prove which you are, or we will ensure you never threaten the galactic order. The weapons powered down, but the threat remained clear. Daewon looked at Junseo, his face grim. We just made ourselves a target. They'll never let us keep the fold engine now. Then we need a new plan, Junseo said, because I won't surrender our future to anyone. Hyojin stared at the Vorhan ships, her mind racing. They had 2 hours to find a way to survive. 2 hours to prove humanity deserved a place among the stars. 2 hours to change everything. The interrogation room felt too small for the weight of secrets it now held. Daewon sat across from Commander Junseo, with Yuna standing beside a holographic display. Hyojin watched from the corner, recording everything. Outside, the 3 Vorhan ships maintained their positions, weapons charged but not yet firing. Start from the beginning, Junseo said. Daiwan closed his eyes, remembering. 7 years ago, we were mapping the outer regions near the Drift Nebula. Standard survey work. Then our sensors picked up something strange. A structure floating in deep space far from any star system. Yuna activated the hologram. It showed a massive geometric shape, all sharp angles and impossible architecture. The structure looked like it had been carved from a single piece of black crystal. This is what we found. It was 20 kilometers across and completely dead. No power signatures, no heat, nothing. But our scans showed it was made from materials we couldn't identify. We thought it was just an interesting discovery, Daewon continued. Something to report back to Earth Command. But when we sent a team inside, everything changed. Hyejin leaned forward, fascinated despite the danger. What was inside? A tomb, Yuna said quietly. Or maybe a museum. The structure was filled with technology from a civilization called the Architects. They existed millions of years ago, long before humans, before most species in the galaxy, and then they disappeared. The hologram shifted, showing corridors lined with strange devices. Some looked almost familiar, like tools or computers. Others defied description, shapes that hurt to look at too long. We spent weeks cataloging everything, Daewon said. Our scientists were excited. This was the discovery of a lifetime. Then we found the central chamber. The hologram changed again. Now it displayed a spherical room with a single object floating in the center. The object looked like a small sun, but made of interlocking metal rings that rotated through each other in impossible ways. The fold engine, Yuna whispered, her voice filled with something between awe and fear. The moment we entered that chamber, it activated. A hologram appeared, an AI left behind by the architects. It told us this device could fold space itself, allowing instant travel across any distance. Junseo frowned. That's impossible. Even theoretical physics says you can't travel faster than light without massive energy costs. That's because human physics is wrong, Yuna said. She pulled up complex equations on the hologram. The fold engine doesn't move through space. It convinces reality that you were always at your destination. It manipulates quantum probability across dimensional barriers. Hyejin's mind raced, trying to understand. That's insane. That's what we thought too, Daewon said. But the AI offered to teach us, to show us how to use it. We couldn't refuse. This technology could change everything for humanity. We could reach distant stars in seconds, explore the entire galaxy in our lifetime. So what went wrong? Junseo asked. Daewon's face darkened. Everything. The AI didn't tell us the full truth. Learning to use the fold engine required interfacing with it directly. It changed people's brains, rewired their neural pathways. Some crew members started seeing things that weren't there. Others became obsessed, spending days staring at the device without sleeping or eating. Yuna touched her temple, her hand shaking slightly. The device emits radiation that alters how your brain processes reality. I've been exposed to it more than anyone. I can see probability now, like looking at multiple futures all at once. Sometimes I don't know which one is real. People started dying, Daewon continued, his voice hollow. Some went mad and walked out airlocks. Others died in accidents that shouldn't have been possible, as if reality itself rejected their existence. We lost 50 people in the first year. Hyejin felt sick. Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you come back to Earth? Because the AI wouldn't let us, Yuna said. Once we activated the fold engine, it locked onto our ship. It said we had to prove we were worthy of this technology. We had to complete a trial. What kind of trial? Installing the device on our ship and successfully using it, Daewon explained. It took us 6 years. 6 years of watching our crew die, of fighting with technology we barely understood. But we did it. We installed the fold engine in our cargo bay and learned to control it. The hologram showed the horizon's edge, its cargo bay now housing the rotating sphere of the fold engine. Energy patterns flowed through the ship like veins of light. When we finally succeeded, the AI released us, Daewon said. But it also sent out a signal, broadcasting across the galaxy that someone had claimed architect technology. That's when the Vorhan found us. Who are the Vorhan? Junseo demanded. Yuna brought up new images showing the alien ships in detail. The Vorhan Collective is an empire that controls hundreds of star systems. They've been searching for architect technology for over 2,000 years. They want it for themselves. They chased us for weeks, Daewon said. We used the fold engine to escape, jumping across space faster than they could track us. But they're persistent. They have their own tracking technology. Ancient stuff they stole from other dead civilizations. They followed our trail all the way here. Junseo stood up, pacing. So you led an alien empire directly to a human station. To Earth's doorstep. I know, Day One said, meeting his eyes. I know what we've done. But Commander, Earth needs this technology. The galaxy is full of species more advanced than us, more powerful than us. Without the fold engine, humanity will always be weak, always be vulnerable. We transmitted all our research data to Earth Command before we docked, Yuna added. They have everything we learned. Even if the Vorhan destroy us, even if they take back the fold engine, Earth will know it's possible. They can search for other architect sites, find their own devices. An alarm blared. Hyjin checked her datapad and looked up, her face pale. The Vorhan are broadcasting again? The hologram shifted, showing the lead Vorhan ship. A voice boomed out. The translator struggling with the alien language. Humans of Station Theta 9, we are the Vorhan Collective. We have tracked the stolen architect device to your location. You have 6 hours to surrender it. If you refuse, we will destroy your station and everyone aboard. This is your only warning. The transmission ended. Silence filled the room. Junseo turned to Day One. 6 hours. Earth's fleet won't arrive for 3 days. I know. Can we fight them? Yuna shook her head. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Each of those ships could destroy this station in minutes. Their weapons can phase through our shields like they're not even there. Then what do you suggest? Junseo asked. We use the fold engine, Day One said. We fold this entire station to a different location, somewhere the Vorhan can't find us. Can you do that? Can you fold something as large as a station? Yuna hesitated. Theoretically, yes, but I've never tried moving anything larger than our ship. If I make a mistake, if the calculations are wrong, we could fold the station into a star, or into the middle of a planet, or scatter it across a dozen different dimensions. Hyjin spoke up for the first time. What if we don't run? What if we try to negotiate? All eyes turned to her. She continued, her voice gaining confidence. The Vorhan want the fold engine, right? What if we offer them something else? What if we share our research data in exchange for letting us keep the device? The Vorhan don't negotiate with species they consider inferior, Yuna said. To them, we're just primitives who stole something valuable. Then we prove we're not primitive, Hyjin argued. We show them we understand the technology. We demonstrate that we can use it properly. Junseo considered this. It's risky. If they think we're too dangerous with that kind of power, they might decide to eliminate us entirely. We're already in danger, Day One said. At least this way we're making a choice instead of just reacting. The commander walked to the window, staring out at the Vorhan ships. They hung in space like sleeping predators, beautiful and terrifying. Finally, he turned back to the others. All right, we'll try negotiation first. Yuna, I want you to prepare a demonstration of the fold engine, something impressive but not threatening. Day One, work with my tactical team to develop backup plans in case things go wrong. Hyjin, you're with me. We're going to draft a message to the Vorhan. What will you tell them? Yuna asked. Junseo's jaw set with determination. That humanity is more than they think. That we're not primitives to be bullied. And that if they want to fight, they'll get one they'll never forget. Outside the window, stars burned cold and distant, watching humanity take its first real steps into a galaxy far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The alarm screamed through Station Theta 9 at exactly 3 in the morning. Hyjin jolted awake in her quarters, her heart pounding against her ribs. She grabbed her uniform and ran toward the command center, her bare feet slapping against the cold metal floor. Other crew members stumbled into the corridors, their faces painted with confusion and fear. What's happening? Someone shouted. Hyjin didn't answer. She burst through the command center doors and froze. The main screen showed something impossible. A ship hung in the darkness of space where nothing should exist. The scanners painted it in green light and the identification code made her stomach drop. That's the horizon's edge, she whispered. Commander Junseo stood at the center of the room, his jaw tight. He was a tall man with gray streaks in his black hair, and right now he looked like he'd seen a ghost. Confirm that identification again, he ordered. A young technician's fingers danced across his console. Confirmed, sir. It's definitely the horizon's edge. Registration matches perfectly. That's impossible, Junseo said. That ship disappeared 7 years ago. Hyjin moved to her station and pulled up the historical records. The horizon's edge had been a colonial survey vessel. sent to map potential settlement worlds near the Drift Nebula. It carried 342 people. Good people. Scientists, engineers, families hoping to build new homes among the stars. Then one day it simply vanished. Search teams found nothing. Not debris, not distress signals, nothing. Earth Command declared everyone dead after 2 years of searching. Sir, they're hailing us, the communications officer announced. Put it through, Junseo commanded. Static filled the speakers. Then a man's voice cut through. It sounded tired, worn down by years of hardship. Station Theta 9, this is Captain Daewon of the UESV Horizon's Edge, requesting emergency docking permission. Junseo leaned forward. Captain Daewon, this is Commander Junseo. Your ship was declared lost 7 years ago. We need you to explain where you've been. Silence stretched for several heartbeats. When Daewon spoke again, his voice carried a weight that made Heejin's skin crawl. Commander, we found something. Something humanity wasn't meant to find. And now they're coming to take it back. They? Who are they? We'll explain everything when we dock. But Commander, you need to raise your shields now. Junseo's eyes narrowed. Is that a threat, Captain? No, sir. It's a warning. They followed us here. Junseo made a quick gesture. The weapons officer activated the station's defensive shields. On the screen, the Horizon's Edge grew larger as it approached. Heejin ran a deep scan on the vessel. What she saw made her gasp. Commander, look at these power readings. Junseo came to stand beside her, studying the data. His face went pale. That's impossible. Those energy levels are 10 times higher than any human ship should produce. 20 times higher, actually. Heejin corrected, her fingers trembling as she recalculated. Sir, I don't know what kind of power source they're using, but it's nothing in our database. The station's docking clamps engaged with a heavy clang that echoed through the hull. Heejin pulled up the ship's internal sensors. Commander, I'm only reading 89 life signs on that ship. Junseo's face hardened. 89? There were over 300 people on that vessel. I know, sir. The docking tunnel extended, connecting the station to the Horizon's Edge. Junseo turned to his security chief. Take a team to the docking bay. I want everyone from that ship in quarantine until we understand what happened. Heejin couldn't look away from her screens. Something about the ship's energy signature bothered her. It pulsed in a rhythm that seemed almost alive, like a heartbeat. She started running analysis algorithms, trying to identify the power source. 30 minutes passed. The security team reported that the Horizon's Edge crew was cooperating, but refusing to answer questions. They wanted to speak only to Commander Junseo. Heejin kept working, diving deeper into the sensor data. The power source seemed to be located in the cargo bay, but the readings made no sense. They violated several laws of physics, Commander, the sensor technician called out. His voice shook. Sir, we have 3 new contacts. They just appeared on long-range scanners. Everyone turned to the main screen. 3 ships materialized from faster-than-light travel, their forms unlike anything in Earth's database. They were massive, each one larger than the station itself. Their hulls seemed to absorb light, making them look like holes cut in space. Battle stations, Junseo shouted, alarms blared. Heijin's hands moved on instinct, routing power to sensors, trying to gather any information about these unknown vessels. They arranged themselves in a triangle formation around the station, perfectly positioned. This wasn't random. This was tactical. Sir, receiving a transmission, the communications officer said. It's not in any human language. Put it through the translator. A voice boomed through the speakers, harsh and alien. The words came slowly, each syllable fighting with human phonetics. Return the fold engine. It does not belong to lesser species. The command center fell silent. Heejin stared at the alien ships, her mind racing. Fold engine? What was that? Junseo's jaw tightened. He opened a channel to the quarantine area. Captain Daewon, get to the command center now. Sir, should I respond to the alien transmission? The communications officer asked. Not yet. Junseo's eyes never left the screen. I want to know what we're dealing with first. The doors hissed open. Captain Daewon walked in, flanked by 2 security guards. He looked older than his file photo, his face lined with scars and exhaustion. Behind him came a woman in an engineer's uniform. Her eyes held a strange intensity that made Heejin uncomfortable. Commander Junseo, Daewon said quietly. I'm sorry we brought this to your doorstep. Explain, now. Daewon looked at the alien ships on the screen and sighed. 7 years ago, we found something in deep space, an ancient structure, built by a civilization that died millions of years before humans even existed. Inside, we discovered technology beyond anything we could imagine. We took one piece. That piece. He pointed at the screen showing the horizon's edge. It's in our cargo bay. They call it the fold engine. And those ships out there? Junseo asked. The Vorhan Collective. They've been searching for this device for centuries. Daewon's voice dropped to almost a whisper. Commander, that engine can fold space itself. It makes ships travel anywhere instantly. Anywhere. The Vorhan want it back, and they'll destroy this station to get it. The woman beside Daewon stepped forward. I'm Chief Engineer Yuna. Commander, we spent 7 years learning how to use that device. Over 200 of our crew died in the process. We came back because Earth needs this technology. The galaxy is more dangerous than we ever knew. Hyojin's console beeped. She looked down and felt her blood run cold. Commander, the alien ships are charging weapons. On the screen, energy built along the hulls of the Vorhan vessels, glowing with sick green light. Junseo straightened his shoulders. How long until Earth's fleet arrives? 3 days, sir. And how long do we have until those ships fire? Hyojin checked her instruments. Minutes, maybe less. Daewon moved to stand beside Junseo, his eyes locked on the Vorhan ships. Commander, I know you have no reason to trust us. But if we're going to survive this, we need to work together. Junseo studied the captain's face for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. Tell me everything. Start with what this fold engine can do. Outside, in the cold darkness of space, the Vorhan ships waited like predators circling wounded prey.